So I have a story today, and it's not about Sophia Petrillo, and it's very current. It's something that happened within the last hour. So, I showed a picture on the community tab of a home UTI test, the same way they have home pregnancy tests. Now they have home UTI tests, and I have one, and I did a telehealth, and they called in a prescription. So anyway, I just came back from the drugstore where I went to pick up my prescription. And, okay, when I got there was one person ahead of me. I was the next one, and it was unclear as to where the line was, so I stood in an aisle. Then another woman came, maybe a little older than me, and she stood in another aisle. So I turned to her, and I said to her really nicely, I said, "Oh, I thought the line was over here. I've been waiting for a while," because I wanted to make sure that there was going to be no fight of, "Oh, where did you come from? I was ahead of you. You were ahead of me, blah, blah, blah." So she gets behind me. Then another person comes and goes to where she was. So then we decide to move the line over to where he was. And so we were talking, and I made a joke. The man behind her was very pleasant. And I made a joke and said, like, "Oh, don't call me Karen," or something like that. I said I was being a Karen with the line. And we were talking and laughing, just strangers that are picking up a prescription in the same town, just chit-chatting while waiting for the person ahead of us who was talking a lot, not mindful that there was a line of people queuing up behind her. Anyway, that's another story. So now another man comes in, and he bears a very strong resemblance to a man who was an iconic figure in Beacon, New York, the hot dog man. His name was Mo, or is Mo. For many years, I'm talking about, I moved to Beacon in 1987, and he was a fixture back then. The man had a hot dog stand on the corner across from where, like, the post office and the diner was for many, many years. And so the whole town knew him, or the old-timers or whatever, and the mid-timers, not the new-timers. And he must have finally retired about a year ago. And he had a twin brother that I didn't know. But anyway, I did know he had a twin brother. So anyway, he was a permanent fixture. Whether you liked him or didn't like him, he was always there. And he did really good business. So, towards the end of his illustrious career as a hot dog man, he had multiple political signs up on his hot dog thing. And some of them were a bit hateful, and he was close to the post office. There's a federal law that says you cannot have any kind of political signs within a certain distance of a federal building, and a post office, even if you're renting the building, is a federal building. I brought it up with the town, not because I was for or against, but I just felt like he was breaking the law, and some people were arguing about it, and I felt upset every time I walked in and out of the post office, or in and out of the diner, or up and down on Main Street. And the man saw me once peering to read the sign and assumed that I was against his political point of view, and he started screaming and yelling at me, and that upset me more than... He didn't even ask me why I was looking. He was just this hostile, hateful, defensive man. And, but yet, most of the old-timers in the town loved him. So, I never got into it with him. Well, so the man that came after the pleasant man looked a lot like him. And it was a little dim in the drugstore. So on my way out, I say goodbye to the people I was talking to. Have a nice day. I mean, I've lived in the South for a long time, and my father was a very gregarious, friendly man. I grew up in a very tight-knit Ukrainian community that was very social and friendly and polite, I believe. So, I see this man, and he looked a lot like the hot dog man. So I said, "Oh, are you the hot dog man?" And the man starts screaming and yelling at me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, are you his brother? And then he's yelling and yelling. And then he says, oh, he's a blank supporter. I said, no, I'm not getting political. I just glanced at you and thought you were him. And I was going to say hello to him, because I always used to go to the post office and pass him by. That's all. And the man is screaming at me and screaming at me. I think he even cursed at me, when all I did was say, oh, hello, in a nice tone. I'm not tall. I'm not skinny, but I'm not, hefty. This man looked about like he was 6'5" and at least 300 pounds, like burly, a bit burly. And it's like, he was so belligerent and hateful. And I was like, most people, I used to be very soft-spoken and docile, but then I was around people that would always talk over me and railroad me and steamroll me, so that my voice started getting loud. But I think that when I spoke to him, I didn't like scream at him and go, ah, you're the hot dog man. I was like, oh, hi, you're the hot dog man. I said it in a nice way. This man was, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say effed up. See, one of the things I don't like about New York anymore is, I love New York. New York has a certain vibe, or it used to have a certain vibe. The New York that I grew up in had a certain vibe. It's changed. It's become like that movie Escape from New York. You can't even say hello to a person. The majority of the neighbors on this block act like I'm Charles Manson. And when I just go out and say, hi, like they act like there are very few people. Even what happened with Sophia Petrillo, she turned into this seething, hate-filled hater. It's like there are a bunch of haters walking around. I don't understand it. I'm not a malicious person. All right, maybe I'm annoying. Maybe my voice annoys people. People on YouTube have said, oh, she sounds like Cyndi Lauper. Or maybe, the pitch goes up, like if I'm nervous or I'm excited about something, or, other people around me are getting loud. Like, I know that my voice, sometimes, like when I record myself, I have, I think, an almost pleasant voice, and the other times I do sound a bit screechy. So I am aware of that, but there's no maliciousness in my intent. When I'm in the South, overall, if someone says hello, they say hello back. If someone smiles at you, you smile back. Or you smile at them, they smile back. If you do a little chit-chat, they do a little chit-chat. It's like the people up here are just so hateful and filled with hate that it's like, I don't want somebody to squash my joy. Like, if I want to be friendly, or if I'm a friendly person, and I get up and I'm happy, and I have this internal happiness, and I want to smile and say hello, and be a little bit like Tinkerbell, that's who I am. That's the way God made me. And these people are like demons, demonic. It's like they want to squash anyone that they see with like a happy spirit, or a friendly spirit, or a joyful spirit. And here it is. I've just wasted over 8 minutes talking about it, but I was shocked at how this man went off on me in public, in a drugstore, for saying, hello, hi, aren't you the hot dog man? I just can't wrap my brain around how vile people have become. And no, I'm not putting myself around people who are vile. Anyway, everyone, have a great day. And if you're a nasty and vile person, stay the hell away from me. Bye.